this is not one of my better days, but I'm gonna make it work. And typically, I've been splitting both my streams. I'll have Facebook on my left and then YouTube on my right, so I can view who all shows up or not. Doesn't matter to me. Today, it's gonna be part 3 of my own book I made. And I shaved my head. I can answer that question for people later why I shaved my head, but that's a question you got to ask. And to be frank, right now, I am going to discuss part 3 because chapter 7 was a big chunk of meat, and I mean it was a big chunk of meat, and damn, it was a big chunk of meat. So now we're going to work on just the less chunk of meat. Like, I mean, hot damn, it was a big chunk of meat because I didn't think it'd take me that long to figure it out. But it's all good. We're gonna get there someday. We'll get this whole book finished. But no. What actually is interesting about this chapter I'm about to read? It actually got me motivated. I actually dig deep last night. I actually motivated myself to make this even better than my last video. Um, and it's chapter 8, the Boy Scout and the football player. I might just edit all my stuff and just state what chapters I'm talking about because it's a lot to take in. Um, but yeah, this is another biggin on the chopping block. Another biggin piece of my life right here. And we're going to, as I've gone, we're going to talk, dissect it, tell you all about it, and get something out of this, like, some understanding. But yeah, let's start chapter 8, The Boy Scout and the Football Player, by yours truly. Brian J. Argo is the person we're talking about today. And today's chapter, it's about him, but I'm the narrator to my own story, so it's interesting. But yeah, let's get this going. And for good faith, this time I'm not drinking for this one right here. No drinking for this one. No beers, no shots, no drinking. But let's continue. Scouting. This is where we start. Because I thought about the first part's going to be Boy Scouts, and the next one will be football. This is scouting. This is about as important most of Brian's life. Yes, the Boy Scouts of America is a very much real organization still around, but now it's now called scouting. Why it's called scouting, not Boy Scouts? Well, a few years back, it used to be that way. Just the organization decided to make the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts into one organization. For a long time, it was two different things. Boy Scouts would be, do boy things, such as sell popcorn, volunteer in communities, high adventure activities, a lot of camping trips. Other things is Order the Arrow, the Tribe of Mikose. These two other things in the Boy Scouts are like fraternities. As a young man as if a young man was going through college and was sworn into the fraternity for life. The Boy Scouts have that too. Just saying. And the Girl Scouts. Girl Scouts, Can't really tell you what I know that Girl Scouts do, but similar to Boy Scouts, before they are now called Scouting, I don't want to butcher what the Girl Scouts do. I'm sorry to fail you all for have no information on that at this time, but point is Brian was just in Boy Scouts, not Girl Scouts. I don't think they would let him in there. Brian's journey into scouting was like most things, very new and strange. His first few meetings, he didn't know what to do, but that is like most young men, young boys of his age. They are not prepared to just know how to lead and just communicate well with others in the room. They're all boys from all walks of life. So the Boy Scouts is a very unique group to be in. But as Brian learned and grew into the organization, he learned a lot of things that he could help him later down the road, made him of a gentleman. Plus, he believed that the Boy Scouts help young boys into young men over time, making them a bit more mature, a bit more aware of their surroundings. Now, how does this work, you say? Some of the young men, some of the young boys or young men, how to take up roles in their troop in order to advance in rank. Some boys had to become leaders, others caretakers with different assignments. That does, you know, that does correspond with our own U.S. military as well. They are kind of similar. As boys had to be a bit more involved to help build their troop and to advance in rank. As I mentioned, the military, they are similar. Both groups of people have assignments to do, both wear uniforms to um, diminish who they are. I don't know what I said. The Boy Scout uniform has patches to indicate what troop they belong to and what they have done in scouting. Brian had many of those things he did over the course of 6 years. 6 years of his life was to made from a boy to a man by learning his morals, plus oath and law. And we'll talk about the Scout oath and law. And as I learned from my previous video, I'm going to break things down as we go, but we're still in chapter 8, by the way. So, okay, scouting. There's a lot of core values that I'll tell you that you can find on the internet, asking people who have actually been in Boy Scouts. There's a lot of core values that people don't understand. They really don't. It's like me teaching you how to build a car or something. It's very strange to learn how to do that and such. So, yeah, it's a bit strange. But, it's all good. You just learn. But anyways, scouting has a lot of core values, and they're all meaningful. Things that this young Brian has been doing is to lead, to organize, to teach, to learn, and follow example. And when I discuss the oath and the law, those are the main core values of being Boy Scouts. And to prove it, I will actually do the Scout Oath and Law here on the video, how it's demonstrated. And I will go as follows. Bear with me. Take your 3 fingers. You don't actually hold it down like this. I'm trying to like show you guys on the camera. You're actually supposed to have like a 90-degree angle, but I don't know if I can. Okay. So what you do is you're standing up, you're sit up straight, and you do this at 90 degrees, not like this, not like this, like Hitler shit. I mean, you gotta be like fucking mature. I could hold it. It's just I haven't done it in a long time. But anyways, this is how the Scout Oath and Law goes. It goes as follows. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, and to obey the Scout Law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, and to obey the Scout Law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Now, it's not hard to dissect this oath. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'll do my best. Whatever the best is what you can do is whatever you can do. That's the best. I mean, you wake up every day and you can try to do your best every day. If that means like the littlest things, you're still doing your best. You know, it's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. Do my best. So you like wake up every day and say, you know, today's goal is this. Don't lower your expectations, but don't set them too high. Do your best. Like every day. Do your best. That's pretty self-explanatory. And yeah, the Boy Scouts kind of do believe about the church and God and all this. To do my duty to God and my country, and to obey the Scout Law. To do my duty to God and my country. That's being loyal to, God and my country. It used to be how I said, was, on my honor, I'll do my best to do my duty. I don't think it was God and country. I don't remember how if it was God and country. I think it was, on my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to obey the Scout Law. So yeah, they must have took out God and country. I don't remember. It's been too long. Been 6 years, so I wouldn't really know. I'm not the most resourceful income at this time. But the next part is to help other people at all times. That's the third sentence. Well, that's pretty self-explanatory, to be honest. Help other people. That's pretty self-explanatory. I scratch your back, you scratch my back. I mean, what else am I going to say? I help you, you help me. Straight enough. That's the third sentence on the oath. This is the last and fourth sentence on the oath. Keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. I'll keep it short. Keep your mind and body healthy. Keep your mind and body healthy. That's about it. Wow. What do I know? I was on Boy Scouts. Next, next is the Scout Law. A scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Well, trustworthy, trust one another. Loyal, you're loyal to someone or something. Helpful, well, I can't explain helpful, but helpful, it's its own word. Helping each other out. Friendly, being there for people. Courteous, I kind of forgot what that means, to be honest. Kind means to be, treat people out like how you want to be treated. Obedient, listen, pay attention, understand. Cheerful, be happy, enjoy life. Thrifty, I'm actually kind of lost on some of these words. Brave, stand up, don't take shit from anybody, be brave, help out people along the way. Clean, yeah, that's a lot of guys. that's a lot of guys. Clean, that one kind of, yeah. Being clean is a big major thing. You don't want to be smelly at a campery or something. Not the greatest thing in the world. And reverent. Religious thing, to my knowledge. Been it, but that's okay. But we'll continue on. These things are what helped Brian turn into the man you see today. Those things are not easily these things are not easy, but helpful to others. I don't need to explain what the oath and law of the Boy Scouts means. You on your own time can do that, but there's more. Boy Scouts motto: be prepared. You just be prepared for good times, bad times. I don't know how else to explain that one. Boy Scouts slogan: do a good turn daily. Means every so often do a good turn daily. Just help somebody out like once in a while. Walk that old lady across the street. Like, I mean, it's not hard. I mean, it's not hard. Just help somebody out once in a while. You'll feel good about yourself. And we'll keep going in chapter 8. These two things are what's important that they help to keep the scouts in line. But always be prepared, as this goes with life. No one is prepared for tomorrow, the next year. But being prepared always is not a bad idea. Do a good turn daily means helping out others if needed, but not all the time. You need to know if people need the help or not. That was scouting. We're done with that. Now we're going to football, chapter 8. Football, it's a sport that most young men do. In junior high and high school, Brian wanted to stand out and be tough, that could not be shy or afraid. The other case, he was bullied a lot growing up. But when he got into football, he was left alone no more. The practices he participated in were long, as the games were too. Thursday nights to Friday night games he participated in, not all the time, but he tried to most games. He did not want to stand out to be. He did wanted to stand out to be well known around his school. With football, he built on more on team building skills as he did in Boy Scouts. Football helped him make friends, and people followed him around a lot. 4 years he spent to learn the um, 4 years he spent to learn the fundamentals of team working and learning how to play the game the right way. To end this one, you just need to know that Brian, he has skills to work with others, at any time if needed. Most of the time won't. As you can say, he is a team player. As long as you can play with him, he could play with you. He could help you out. But if you put him to but if you put him to the side, he won't help. The old saying goes, I scratch your back, you scratch my back. This is how us as people should act with each other, not fight or kill each other. It's hard to find great men like Brian. You can try to find them, but you won't. To conclude this, Brian is a team player. Would do anything to help somebody out of the smallest things to the biggest thing he did as a friend. You need to know, not okay, to the biggest thing he is a friend. You need to know, not a friend you want. Basically, football build him up. He didn't become a shy kid anymore. He became tough. People followed him around because they thought, big guy, ain't nobody gonna mess with him. And as an ideal embodiment, he did not let anybody mess with him. He was big, tall, somewhat handsome type of guy, and he just didn't take shit from nobody. But he was great with his football team, helped him out, got him some team building skills. And he's a team player. Brian is a very friendly guy. You'll love him. As long as you treat him right, he'll treat you right. But anyways, the life changes of chapter 9. And to this extent, there was notes taken by Brian over the years, and they're all different. And I had to find all these through his old informations about him, but there's a lot. And we're going to dissect the beautiful chapter 9, life changes. This time in Brian's life has a big impact on him again. Just like Rogers, Arkansas, and just like San Jose, California, now Springdale did not end. It did not end. And it happened again. Or now Springdale. It didn't end. It happened again. I'll just rephrase. Same thing happened. Never staying somewhere for a long time. 8 years in Rogers, 2 years in San Jose, 6 years in Springdale. Brian's dad and Jean, his girlfriend, were breaking up. Team Brian did not know what happened to them. They were great together. Team Brian and his dad had to move out of Springdale, Jean's house. And where did Team Brian went to? His grandpa's, David's house in Rogers, so he can come back home to Rogers again. But this was not the same for Brian. He lost more friends in Springdale, never to hear from them again. Like what happened in Rogers many years ago in San Jose many years ago, and now living with his grandpa and his dad. He was very much alone from any friends that his and this where his grandpa pushed Teen Brian every day and was telling him this is where his grandpa pushed Teen Brian every day and was telling him anything. He loved his grandpa when he was younger, but the loss of his wife, Brian's grandma Ruth, his grandpa was not the same. They were always fighting in Grandpa's home on down on it 4601 West Nolleview Way. But Teen Brian only lived there for a few months. His dad and Grandpa wanted a bigger house for all three of them to live in. But with this came a lot of problems. Brian wanted to live a life as a teen and do whatever he wanted to do. So also never did help his dad or grandpa move into the new house. The house was 801 LaSalle Court here in Rogers, Arkansas. So this is where all things of Brian's last 2 years came into play. I have found some record dates of Brian to share with you all. So some of these are painful to read and some are hard to understand. But I'll try my best to make you understand these things and what happened to Brian. From Brian Joseph Argo, dated 5/23/12, talk to the new girl and friend. This date is about a girl that Brian liked a lot and chat with over the summer with a dating website called meetme.com, but before that it was called My Yearbook was the name before they changed it to Meet Me. Didn't know why, don't ask me. But this was the start. See my phone highlight up there. Anyways, but this was the start of Brian making new friends. Her name was Shelby C. We're not going to exclude everybody's name in this, so that way you don't find these people and try to talk to them. But you just got to know her name was Shelby C. She was a very sweet, smart girl that Brian thought she was. They messaged each other till they started going to school at Rogers. It was a small part of Brian that was going great till something happened. To this day, I don't know why it happened. I tried to ask Brian and no answers from him, no comments, but to know he started to have feelings for her. That's where it ended. But before they were happy to get along with each other, he hanged out with her for some time. Brian's first real love he thought he had, but I will say there is no more dates. They are record that should put you at the end of this story. So this chapter 9 is not as long as the other ones. It's life changes. He moved around a lot. He lived in Rogers as a young boy at a part of his time. And then he moved to San Jose, California. And the big part was there his mom and dad split up. He was happy up till 9 years old, and he had to make the decision to go stay with his mom or live with his dad. So he left to go with his mom. Still regrets it, but what is a child going to do? Next thing is his dad and Jean breaking up. That's happened already him before with his own mom and dad breaking up. So not really much getting help. And then in that time, he lived down in Springdale for 6 years. Now he had to move to his grandpa's house in Rogers so he could feel like he came back home again. But everything changed. And, everything changed when he started living with his grandpa. And, and it was not quite actually good. Had somebody text me. Sorry about that, folks. That's okay. Like I said, none of my stuff is scripted. Anyways. And the thing was, he loved his grandpa at one point, but couldn't stand him anymore, to be honest. His grandfather changed. His grandpa lost his, wife, his grandmother, Ruth, a long time ago. And that changed his grandpa's thought process, to be honest. So, pretty hard. And his grandpa was never the same. Just wasn't. So the last time Brian ever was crying about it was a long time ago. But when his grandpa died, no feelings. But we'll now talk about this date and time on 5/23/12. So we'll discuss about this. Brian was starting to have feelings. I mean, he started having feelings for a girl. Like real feelings. Like he's never had it before. So it's all new to him. And they met on a dating website that it's still a current website today. You can find it at meetme.com. And it's literally meet me, like literally just meet somebody. But it was different like when he was on it, and nowadays it just kind of sucks. It's really gone downhill, but to be honest. Anyways, now Shelby was trying to be a friend with Brian. They had similar likings. They're both the same age. And well, to be honest, they just, well, like I said, they had similar things. She was very sweet, very smart. Brian thought that was sexy as hell, so he wanted to be with her. And well, story goes, I guess they never did actually get a chance to do that. So it's whatever. But we'll continue on because chapter 10 now is a very, very important day. And as I look at this chapter, we're going to have to take a break because I have to edit this and say the chapter part 4 is going to be a long one. It's his homecoming. And homecoming, we'll just say that, well, there's other dates besides the homecoming day. And homecoming is, well, when he actually gets back home and starts going to school in Rogers, but it's actually homecoming itself too, like the time of the year where high school gets really big with football and everything like that. So this is going to take more of another day to dissect this because there's a lot to say. And after chapter 10, we're going to get into some dark stuff. And I mean, we're going to get into some dark, dark stuff in chapter 11 and 12, possibly 13. We're going to get into some very dark, disturbing times of Brian's life. And they're not going to be not pleasant. And if you don't want to hear it, I understand if you don't want to participate in that time for tomorrow or something, or the next day. I'm not going to make you listen to any of this when it comes to those chapters. But if you want to understand, you gotta listen, because it's a big deal. And I'll give you a hint. It's about suicide. And it's not something to fucking joke about. It's a serious thing that people nowadays still do it, and you lose loved ones. I might cry a bit because it'll be hurting some old memories, but it's gonna hurt. But that's not what we're gonna talk about today. We have already discussed chapter 8 and 9 today, and they were pretty beefed up chapters, and I'm not gonna make my videos run more than 2 hours. So we're gonna cut it off for the day, and we'll come back tomorrow and do some more understanding of Brian Joseph Argo. And I will reiterate who I am at the end of the book. Because, well, we'll talk about me when we get to the end of the book. Till then, y'all enjoy yourselves. But chapter 10 will be tomorrow's adventure. It's going to be a lengthy one, and when we get down to chapter 11 and 12 and 13, it's we're going to get into some deep, deep stuff, especially chapter 11. Because chapter 11, if you don't understand that, then I wouldn't be here to tell you the story. I would not be here to tell you the tale. So, but we're gonna cut it off for today and come back tomorrow. Hope you guys have a good morning, evening, afternoon, and evening. So take it easy, everybody. Enjoy your nights or days or afternoons. Peace.